things. Um, every campaign that I can think of that has succeeded, whether it's not smoking or eating more healthily, which we haven't done well in the U.S. because everybody's fat, it is always been self-interest. There has been some self-interested motivation, whether it's on an individual basis, it's better for you, you'll live longer, people will like you more, or corporate self-interest. And while you can build tax rules and other kinds of things that try to influence motivations, you have to invent the motivations that cause people to recognize that they want to do that. Leadership doesn't work. You can't lead people where they don't want to go. You can't. It just doesn't work. So if you're going to be successful in waging a campaign of adoption, you have to figure out what it is that will motivate people. And one thing I can tell you from having sold internet for the last 35 years is that the same sales pitch doesn't work for everybody. And so the cleverness of a salesperson is figuring out what is it that you would be motivated by, and then persuading you that that motivation is contained in this product or service or behavioral pattern that I want you to adopt. But you may have a very different view of that, and I have to figure out what that is if I'm going to architect a campaign. So in some sense, the preservation of high-quality journalism may actually be something we have to campaign for. It may be something we have to help people understand that its absence is harmful.
Absolutely, and we will campaign for that. I mean, like the 90s saw this surge in advertising that was purely for the purpose of protecting advertising itself as an industry. And it worked fairly well. I mean, there was an understanding that was developed of the importance of having sponsorship and so on. And I mean, right now, I think journalists are just a little too busy saving journalism, for themselves at this point to really look at the bigger picture, which is what's needed.
It's saving structures and saving their own jobs instead of quality journalism, which is the buzzword actually. I mean, not saving newspapers, but saving journalism and keeping those values that are journalism.
So I don't know how to help people understand this. I mean, most people don't think about journalism. They read stories.
But what does it
Journalists
mean for the
generally
ecosystem?
don't think about
Journalism either. So
Well, what does it mean for the ecosystem?
well, this is back to this question of becoming uninformed. And so let me give you an example, a metaphor. It may not work, but I'll try it. It might surprise you to know that it wasn't easy to get people to adopt the internet. During the early phases in around 1982, when we were just ready to get to require everyone to use the new protocols, they were using an old set of protocols on what was called the ARPANET. And I was here in Washington running the program. And I said, we're going to switch over to the new protocols January 1st, 1983. And we were monitoring who had implemented TCP/IP, and around June it flattened out. So I said, well, I have to get these people motivated. So I had the Defense Communications Agency turn off the ability to carry anything except TCP/IP on the ARPANET backbone, because I could do that. I shut it down for a day. And you could have, screaming and yelling, I can't get my email, and are you crazy? And but I noticed that there was an increase in TCP/IP implementation until October.
This is called the stick.
Yeah,
Very true.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
So that's right.
It's good.
You have to get their attention.
Look, you got
the joke about the 2x4 and the mule. You whack it with a 2x4. Why did you do that? First, you have to get its attention. So then it sort of plateaued again. And so in October, I shut down the ARPANET old protocols for 2 days. And of course, again, screaming and yelling, and then an increase in implementation. But then the final argument, in the end, when somebody seemed to be reluctant, I said, let me explain. If you're not running TCP/IP by January 1st, 1983, I'm not funding your research anymore. Oh, well, that's different. So that's the other part of the stick. But the point I want to make is, I wonder what would happen if there were no useful information for a while. What would happen if journalism went on strike for a day, or 2 days or something. I
If
don't
our
know.
politicians knew about it ahead of time, they'd misbehave horribly during those 2 days to get away with it so you guys couldn't catch up.
Okay, so
Yeah.
guys,